Psalm 92, a song for the Sabbath. It is good to give thanks to Yahweh, to sing praises to your name, O Most High, to declare your steadfast love in the morning and your faithfulness by night, to the music of the lute and the harp, to the melody of the lyre. For you, O Yahweh, have made me glad by your work. At the works of your hands I sing for joy. How great are your works, O Yahweh! Your thoughts are very deep. The stupid man cannot know, the fool cannot understand this. That though the wicked sprout like grass and all the evildoers flourish, they are doomed to destruction forever. But you, O Yahweh, are on high forever. For behold your enemies, O Yahweh, for behold your enemies shall perish. All evildoers shall be scattered. But you have exalted my horn like that of a wild ox. You have poured over me fresh oil. My eyes have seen the downfall of my enemies. My ears have heard the doom of my evil assailants. The righteous flourish like a palm tree and grow like a cedar in Lebanon. They are planted in the house of Yahweh, and they flourish in the courts of our God. They still bear fruit in old age, and they are ever full of sap and green, to declare that Yahweh is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Take a day off. That's what this is all about, right? Not just the command to take a day off, but the reason for taking a day off. So it says right at the beginning in the superscription, and this is original to the psalm, it says a song for the Sabbath. And then he says, look, while you're resting, here's the reasons that you can rest. I mean, that's a little bit different than a law saying, do this, which there's plenty of that in the Bible, keep the Sabbath. In the Old Testament, there's a lot of that going on. Do not mess with the Sabbath. If you don't keep the Sabbath, you're cut off from my people. Keep the Sabbath. But this one is not just a pedagogical command. This is a celebration of the reason behind that law. See, God doesn't just give capricious laws because he's moody or because he feels like it. He does things for a reason, and here you get to see his heart behind giving the Sabbath law. Take a day off. Why? Because God has done some stuff, and it's worth pausing to take a look at. I'll put it this way, it's worth resting in the finished works of God, right? Like, think about it this way. You and I have work to do, right? We got to-do list. I got a to-do list right there. That thing is terrifying looking. Now, personally, I find it rather invigorating because I like my job, but that's a big, hairy, scary list, right? Yeah, we have stuff that we still need to do, and we always will. God has stuff that he has done, and it can't be undone. And so with us, we are far more prone to look forward than behind, which is good. That's the way to be productive in life. If you spend all your time looking at what's done and you rest on your laurels, you're going to stall out. We don't get to do that very often. Not in a healthy way anyhow. Some, but not much. So we are kind of wired, and rightfully so, to look forward at what is yet to do. But when we look back, we're looking at things that may be good, we may have accomplished, but they're still actually all temporary, right? When God looks back at his works, they stand forever. And so you can rest in those. We can't even rest in our completed work, because it's like, look, the grass fades, the flower falls off. Yeah, the word of the Lord is forever. I am not of that nature. I'm very temporary here. And I will probably, I'll be remembered in the next generation because I got kids. I will, Lord willing, be remembered in the next generation after that. Those will be my grandkids. The next generation after that will probably know my name, maybe a couple of stories, hopefully. The next generation after that, they're not going to really have any connection with me in any emotionally deep way, But it'll just show that it's all temporary. So I can't really rest in my works. I just can't do it. Not wisely, because if I do, like, oh, look at the significance of everything I've done this week. Let's take a week off. That's pretty short-sighted, What he's saying here is, look at the significance of everything God has done this week and before, right? And take joy in the works of his hands. And then he gives some prescriptions as to how. And basically what he's saying is, sing to the Lord, and a lot of this is done in church. I mean, look at verse 1, right? It is good to give thanks to Yahweh, to sing praises to your name, O Most High. So what do you do when you take a Sabbath? Sing to God. Right? You can do that at home. You can do that together. Verse 2, to declare your steadfast love in the morning and your faithfulness by night. So this should be not just an hour on Sunday morning with people. We should take a day of worship. Verse 3, to the music of the lute and the harp, the melody of the lyre. Play some instruments, man. Make some music. If you don't play any instruments, YouTube it. Verse 4, for you, O Yahweh, have made me glad by your work. All the works of your hand, at the works of your hands I sing for for joy. Can you say that about anything? Right? Any of the works of God, do they actually bring you joy? Or do you find that you're presuming on the kindness of God, that you are presumptuous? Right? God has done stuff. Good. That's what he should do. I'm going to plug right along, right? Of course, none of us would say it that way, but that can kind of be the effect that it has. Or do we pause and just say, look what he has done? That's good. That's worth singing a song about, right? Verse 5, how great are your works, O Yahweh, your thoughts are very deep. So, I mean, we're just talking about the nature of all of God's work now. So what do we do on the Sabbath? We take a day off, we celebrate some of the stuff that God has done, and we trace that back to see what that tells us about his character, and we rest in that. We rest in that. There's an old saying that to properly celebrate the Sabbath, we need to think of it this way: not to rest from our work, but to work from our rest. Right? So we're resting here because the work of God, the works of God up to this point have been finished, and they stand eternally fixed in the heavens. They're not going anywhere. He's done some stuff, and it's not going to get undone. Most of all, primarily, the cross. Right? Thank God for that. So we can rest in the finished work of God, and that's a good thing. Now that will give us strength to work for the rest of the week, rather than working all week to the point of exhaustion, and then finally I get a day off to just chill, and I'm going to sack out because I'm beat. That may be a reality sometimes, but if we started our week with celebration of God rather than just having everything lead up to that, and we do that when we got nothing left in the tank, it would be a little more healthy perspective for us. So we work from our rest rather than resting from our work. Obviously, we do both. We want to focus our attention in the wise places. So take a day off, man. Let something slip. Let something not get done. Look, you can see right here, there's stuff I'm not doing because I'm being instructed by this. I'm not the example of all things, but I'm trying to obey Psalm 92. That table right there, I need to clean that table up. You know what I'm not doing? I'm not cleaning that table up. I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to go home. That's what I'm going to do. Why? Because I think that's the best way to obey what Psalm 92 just said. I got more stuff to clean up this right here. I got to be careful with my mic there. I got to read this book. My buddy bought me this book, and I'm excited about it. It's called Trinitarian Dogmatics, because I'm a nerd, and it's going to be fun. But, I'm not reading this anytime this week. Why? Because I'm going to spend that time resting a little bit instead, because sometimes that's the right thing to do. So people, take a day off once in a while. Maybe just one a week, but take one off. I love you guys, and I'll see you in corporate worship on Sunday when you're taking a day off to worship the Lord.